Hello and welcome to CR Reviews. It's Cedric and Sidra reviewing Them, the 2021 Amazon series. I'm not going to hide anything about this. When I first saw this, I kind of didn't. When I saw the title and what it was, I was like, I didn't really care. Wasn't going to watch it. Sidra wasn't too eager to watch it either. And we started seeing people's reactions to it. And on the Amazon review list, we saw people reacting to it. And then Sunny Secular, when we were friends before she lost her shit and became highly unaccountable, she said she didn't want to see it because of this woman's writings and what she's used to. And it's all churchy and Bible-y and yada, yada, yada. And we're like, and I was like, we'll watch it. We'll watch it, see how it is, because there was so many things popping up on Twitter, YouTube, the Amazon reviews, and things like that. I'm like, gotta watch it because we'll be going on blind faith, not watching it. And then this stuff, personally for me, cycling through my head, the reviews, and it'd be nagging at me. So gotta see it through. That's what I thought. I gotta see it through. I'll do it for Sunny. I'll do it for me. Teacher wasn't too keen, but she was also kind of like, you know what? Who knows? She was in that 50-50, and I was kind of in that 50-50. So since, friendships dissolved and we had like 5 episodes to go, we still finished it out. So now let's get down to this whole review after the 2-minute thing about Bob I just did. Okay, so look, I looked at the thing and I want to go to Amazon, not Amazon, but YouTube, and see like the ending explained, because the ending was sort of, would the term be open-ended?
It was open, yeah, it was open-ended.
Okay, so
it's kind of left up to viewer discretion exactly what happens next.
So I want to go to YouTube, the ending explained. I saw a bunch of titles and I saw the time limit, and I realized none of them explains the ending. It'll talk about the whole thing and then tell you what the ending was, but it won't be what you're thinking. Because I like to know what happened beyond the cliffhanger, because that's what the ending was. And I'm starting to see what you mean, Sidra, about my writings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What then? Well, then nothing. What do you mean then nothing? God damn it.
Because I'm like, that's a personal problem of mine. I'm like, no one's interested, so I don't continue. That's really it. If there's no, it's like movies, like TV series. If the audience isn't there, there's no need to further it.
But here's the thing: if I wasn't here to either read it or for you to read it too,
I probably would never wrote it.
There would be no audience. When an author sits down to pen something, they're not thinking about, or to me, in my personal opinion, they should not be thinking about who's going to want to read it. Fuck that. It's not about who's going to want to read it. It's about a story that needs to be told. Now, once you get the story told, you can go into the whole backtracking, self-doubt, nobody's going to want to read it thing. You can do that then. But once you get the story told in its entirety to the satisfaction of the characters first and foremost.
I agree. I mean, hey, look, she's a novelist. She knows what she's talking about. So,
about a few things here and there.
Okay, so let's get down to the damn movie.
There's a lot to get into, and I might take the lead on this.
Okay, because I was going to talk. The first thing I wanted to bring up was the acting sucked in the beginning. Actually, it's certain reactions where the acting is not believable by any means, and it's actually ear-piercing, annoying, and it kills the suspension of belief.
Yeah, it's a lot of screaming.
It's meaningless, ill-timed, ill-placed screaming. There's a lot that people don't like about this series, and the problem is they're disliking the stuff that one should like.
So this series gets done in 10 episodes, and the way they do it, the characters are placed in a situation where it sucks. And black family moved into an all white neighborhood in the 1950s. I understand.
At any time, damn the 50s.
But I'm just talking
even
about
today.
I'm just talking about the context of the show.
Oh yes. Back in the 1950s, where racism isn't. It's not. How can I say expected? It's demanded.
Yeah, it's par for the course.
Yeah, it's like breathing tomorrow. They still had they still got a few of them today, but sundown towns.
Yeah.
But these places are so white, they never initiate that kind of law of a sundown town, because who would be here that's not white? Mm-hmm. So they don't think about it. Their hubris, their arrogance, it is just epic. And a sundown town is get your black ass out before sundown, or we get to kill you, and it's lawful. That's what a sundown town is, and so you don't have to deal with that.
But okay, so when you step into this, black family moved into a white neighborhood.
Yep, and then you got why.
The whole why. Because I understand it's the 1950s, and at that stage in history, anything that blacks did was going to be them being the first doing something. Yeah. But honestly, just me, I wouldn't have done that shit.
Nope.
I wouldn't have done it. At the beginning of this TV show, I think it's about a third episode, I disliked the entire family so much. The entire black family so much. I hated their circumstances and the shit that was being done to them that didn't deserve, but I just disliked each and every one of them, because it's like, it was just every scene was like, are you blind?
Are you stupid?
Can you not?
Why are you dumb? Why are you dumb? That's literally, I didn't want to watch. I was like, third episode, I was like, what the fuck is the point of this?
But we also knew, well, I'm not going to say we, but if a fleeting thought crossed my mind, okay, it's a horror too, so let's hang in there. But, especially the scene where he takes his daughter, his oldest daughter, to school and drops her off.
Yep.
She walks away from the car,
and to see the white girl just try to cop block her right there,
stand right in her way, and they just kind of swarm and envelop her.
And
she moves steadily. She goes through this crowd getting to the school, surrounded by white people,
hate
disapproving, hateful, mean expressions. He sees this. He sees what he's sending her into, and he goes off to work.
He nods like, you got this.
Yeah, this whole you got this thing. Look, I understand you're trying to be strong and all that shit, which is complete bullshit. I'll get into that later.
And I don't think they were saying that back in the 1950s. I don't think that was a phrase.
I just could not, in good conscience, as a person and a parent, see that and be like, have a good day, honey.
No way.
Okay, and integration.
That's like dropping your kid off at the preacher's house and he walks out naked and he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We got plenty of condoms. You're like, have a good day, honey. Trust the preacher.
Integration was difficult and it was necessary.
Hit that dislike button.
But it was not done by one child alone. That is not how it went down. We never would have saw that child again if that's how it went down. And then after going to his job, where the experience isn't that different, he comes home and looks at her smiling and says, how was school? It was okay. Okay, I expect to hear more than that. Are you kidding me? The question should have been, what happened to you today? Do we something more than, like Sidra likes to say, smiling like the fucking mayor's wife? So I
ain't say that in a while.
I was really.
I say that off camera usually.
I was really.
I got that from George Carlin.
I was really upset. I had to stop the. I had to stop the show to express this.
Yeah.
To Cedric, because I'm like, what the fuck? Everything picked up for me when they finally showed what happened to the mother in Chester.
Now, I got okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. This guy did some shit that jump off in North Kakalaki. All right. Back then, North Kakalaki was a part of the dirty South. Right. You know, actually, it was like filthy. It's kind of dirtyish clean right now. You know, it's just that there's a massive rug over the state, and that's 2021. In reality, it's a rug over it, and the dirt is under it, so people think that it's clean. It ain't. Okay. And back then, there was no fucking rug. Back then, there was no goddamn rug. The dirt was right out there. And if you're a black family, it's bad enough that you trying to make it, you barely got anything, and then white people want to fuck with you, take your shit, harass you, kill you, lynch you, beat you. I can't tell if I'm talking about, you know, fucking 70 some years ago, if I'm talking about just 3 years ago. You know, considering what's been happening in the LA parks and stuff. You know, but he leave. He wanted to get his family out. Tell him we moving. You know, we were moving on up. And then the wife comes to find out, wait, we moved to a place where it's like no one's allowed of Negro blood at all. What is this? And the white lady's like, hey, gotta ignore that.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
Really enforceable.
Yeah, you can't enforce it. It's not even going to be law in a year or two or something like that. And the whole thing is a banking scam that still goes on today. You know, you sit there with it's like sharecropping. They say, hey, these white people want to move out, but we raise the price of the area, raise the interest, no one will be able to pay it off. And then you have the black families move in that barely get paid anything. They're locked in it for 2 to 3 generations before it's paid off, if it can be paid off.
And if it can't, you foreclose, they get kicked out, and you rope somebody else into it.
And and that's been going on, and it hasn't stopped, and it won't stop. You know, it just won't. And it's not an entity. It's assholes at the helm, and it's asshole Supreme Court judges and others and bureaucrats and whatnot that will not force it to end, because racism don't stop racism, and greed that profits off of greed isn't going to stop that greed from happening. You know, that's how the world works until you legitimately say, I'm going to get up off my ass, vote the right way, and change it immediately. That's what you do. And this movie, this series proves it, because nobody's doing anything. There is no true good fight. There is no true good fight. And they're moving out to Compton, LA, when it was all white. And this is almost telling exactly how the story went about how Compton went from all white to black. It's almost mirroring the story, telling you just a little bit of it. Okay? And so when she finds out, she's upset. And he's like, it's okay, yada, yada, yada. And I literally was like, you mean to tell me you went from racist ass North Carolina, and that's in any era, even today, to move out west where there are jobs and whatnot, yeah, where those white people probably fled the South to get away from the black people. And now you're going to move out there. They tried to escape you while the others just wanted to hurt you. And you want to move way out there? Man, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker on this planet.
And that's how we were feeling. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. Because prior to the episode where you find out exactly what happened to the wife and to their child, you know that something happened. And she was struggling. Okay, if she was struggling with race shit, as all you know at the time, then why the hell are you going to move them all the way out to an all-white neighborhood across the country? It just didn't make any sense and lent more to me not liking these people.
And then start seeing the apparitions and the poltergeist, and I don't believe you. I believe you, but I'm not going to say anything. And I'm seeing my own, but I won't trust yours. Oh my God, it was poorly written in this sense. This was like some white person trying to write as if these black people were white or white people trying to be black, or write as they're just all white people and put some black actors in, and then they ad-lib just a little to not make it completely white. That's what it seemed like. You know, it was almost, it was terrible. It was written poorly. These first episodes were written poorly.
And I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
Explain, Lucy.
Horror.
Explain to me.
That's it. Horror. You cannot. It is very difficult for a horror movie to be written without there being huge mistakes. I mean, they've come out with a few here lately in the past, I'm gonna say 8 years, where you like, damn, I couldn't have done no better. But for the most part, when you're dealing with horror as a genre, no matter whether it's got other undertones or overtones with it, when you are dealing with a horror, the characters have to make mistakes so egregious that you almost root for their demise.
And that's what this black family, the Emerys. I'm like,
hurry
up and die.
That's how it started off. They were making decisions and behaving in such a way where you just like, I'm starting not to give a fuck about these people. But of course, they also use a technique that has become very popular, where you go back and forth in time. That annoys me when it's done poorly. And at points, this is done poorly. But finally, they just open up the whole Pandora's box and let you know what happened. From the point where you find out what... Are we giving spoilers in this?
Yes!
Okay, so at the point you find out what happened is... the father, Henry, takes his 2 daughters to the picture show. Leaves his wife and his son. He was 1. Maybe not even that. At home. I'm sure they've done that 100 times. But on this particular day, crazy white folks show up. And I don't mean crazy as in... like, oh, you crazy. No, like literally.
They are Looney Tunes.
They escaped an asylum kind of crazy. Show up at the house. They show up. They bust up in there. It's 4 of them, a woman and 3 men.
But you know what? They didn't even bust up in there. They just opened the door.
She went around and locked all the doors. Then they broke
broke the window in. They pushed the window in.
They broke the door, and then one of the windows, she didn't get to a window. I mean, they live in the country, so a window was going to be up. It's hot, ain't no air conditioning. So he opened the window and got right in. I don't fault that. If it was now, I'd be like, you should have your fucking windows locked. But back then, I don't fault it. But yeah, they got in. They raped her, and then put the baby, put it in a suitcase, a pillowcase, and played catch with it
for a little bit,
and then swung it around
and you could tell the baby just
until the child stopped moving, and started bleeding,
and the baby. I know it's going to sound bad, but going on the baby didn't suffer. Baby would have been centrifugal force, high G, would have went dizzy, unconscious. The rest, the baby wouldn't even know. So that's I'm trying to paint some modicum of a glimmer of a something in the pitch blackness of a silver speckle of a lining for how they killed this kid and the kid's death. And sadly, I'm pointing this out. What? When it was done killing the kid and they dropped it on the floor, you could tell it was just a plastic baby doll. It was not very believable at all, you know, and it was all rigid and stuff when that's not how a limp body would be. So, I mean, but they did what they did, and I get it.
But they raped the fuck out of her, and although they're raping her, and
I'm not saying there should be a real baby in there, okay? And they're like, oh, you can't be satisfied. No, get your head out your anus, okay? Free your rectum of your head, okay? So anyway, okay, go ahead, Sidra.
So they're raping her, and it's 2 of them doing it, and they're not small, so getting the weight isn't the thing. She tries, but they have her. And then when she realizes the crazy woman's got her baby, it's almost like she was numb from the neck down because she was trying to get to her baby. She just couldn't move. And so although she's being raped from the chest down, her eyes are watching what's going on with her kid. So when the kid is dead,
she just quit.
And so then you have to go through, okay, They leave. They're done. They don't even kill her. They're done. So she's there. Of course, she gets found. Funeral, having to deal with. Basically, she did not deal. There was no dealing. She broke.
Yeah, she was broken.
She broke. She broke mentally, and there wasn't anything that was going to pull her out. There wasn't. His husband tried talking to her. He was patient. He understood. You know, she had helped pull him back from when he came back from World War II, before the youngest child was born. You know, so
and that segues into him.
Mm-hmm.
He has PTSD. Now listen, everyone has PTSD when they've been traumatized by something or a series of something, and for him it was mustard gas. He described it and said it smells sweet, so he doesn't eat sugary things. He can watch it, and I think he can be in the room with it, but if he has to eat it, he bring it close to his face, he starts
to freak out.
Yeah, and
because they use the black soldiers as tests, guinea pigs for the mustard gas,
which is a true thing.
So he understands being fucked up and having to get pulled back. So he was trying his best to be there for his wife and trying to pull her back. And he was desperate. He was desperate. He applied for a job in California as an engineer because that's what he was educationally trained as. Lo and behold, he got it. He bought a house sight unseen, and he moved to Beverly because he was desperate to figure out a way to save his woman. Now, after they revealed that, all the pieces fell into place, and my soul was like, okay.
Like, I get it.
Because I'm telling you, I wanted to stab them all in stupidity, but it made complete and perfect sense.
Yet, during these times dealing with these white people, Lucky is her name.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to visit family.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like all black people.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my query. Why did the fuck they not move there? Why would he not move there?
Because where they lived, it wasn't a house. There was no yard. It would have been an apartment. People are cramped on top of each other. He was used to living in a big-ass house in the country with space for his children to play.
Exactly, a big-ass house. But
that house they had in North Kakalaki was big. It was a big old country house. They showed it from the outside and from the inside. It was big, and it had lots of land. So I'm sure he wanted a nice house for his children to play in with a yard and stuff.
It's bigger than that shit that was in the Haven of Misperdition.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
I can see him not wanting to move and be all cramped. I think he even said that, as a matter of fact.
So, okay. I'm like, come on. There's got to be something. I would have to search. Because you can't act like you don't know. You can't act like you don't know. And look, here's what's so messed up. Okay, desperation, move. They move in, the white people are staring, just looking. And that shit is aggravating. Why don't you say what's on your mind? Why don't you ask some questions? But no, this TV series, and I'm gonna be on the side of a lot of white people. Okay. And that might rub some people the wrong way. So go ahead and smash the dislike button because it don't matter anymore the way YouTube work. This series, you sit there, and I can get white people saying all you want to do is just paint white people in a negative light, yada, yada, yada. All you do is make movies where black people show up and white people just hate on them. There's no good white people. Not one of them is good. Everyone is bad, yada, yada, yada. When the truth is, in this movie, there were two decent white people that stayed decent no matter what. Okay? And I think that was the milkman to an extent. No, ain't he the one that broke dude's leg and drove off and stuff?
No, that was Clark, her husband.
That was Clark. Okay, her husband. My bad. He wanted the milkman. Okay, so Clark, he was good.
You know why he was good, right?
No.
Because he was gay.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I did not pick up on that.
They alluded to it. He was talking to the cop, He said, yeah, some of my cop buddies said they saw you in a bar
where you shouldn't be.
But it was probably just a mistake.
Okay, yeah, you said that, then it was nothing was mentioned.
If he was in a bar with a bunch of black folks, they'd be like, oh, you're trying to get in that black pussy. They wouldn't have complained about that, but no. Where you shouldn't have been, because he knows he's a married man.
Yeah.
To a woman. So yeah, okay. Clark was gay. So
I guess he understands what discrimination must be.
He should.
But to him, he was probably just apathetic in general.
Yeah.
But that's all we can do is speculate and assume on him.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
He wasn't overtly.
If he was.
Yeah, it wasn't overt.
Now, and talk about racist.
Racist, yeah.
And then the other, I would say the psychiatric guy, that big dude, the big white dude, he want a dick.
He was complicit. That's so.
He had to do his job, whether he liked it or not. He was on the side of Lucky. He just
and we can't say that for sure, because the one time where he was engaging with her, he broke down into ghost paranormal face, so she might have been hallucinating.
Shit, they probably got us, or at least got me. So shit, that had to be. God damn it, I tried. I really fucking tried. But look, I need everybody to understand and see. I did try, Sidra.
You tried.
I fucking tried.
Oh, I'm on it.
And I'm glad. Most of the white people in this town almost didn't give a shit that there were black people moving in or had moved in. They didn't necessarily give a damn. If you watch the series, when they moved in and stuff, yeah, they're out there staring, yada yada, but they didn't really care. That's what they were showing. I'm just gonna lead into something else that I noticed at the end of the series, at least season 1, because they're gonna do a season 2 that most likely won't feature the Emerys. But it just they corral, they murmur, and then that one voice speaks up, and that one voice could easily say, "Hey, let's just welcome them, and it's okay." But no, it was Betty, won't it? The leader?
Yeah.
She is not happy. Goes home, starts flicking at her wallpaper, how it's not all perfect or whatever the fuck. And all of a sudden, she gets a wild hair up her ass. And just like any other time in history, she has to browbeat her husband into trying to act. Be a man. Be strong.
And see, there was dismay in the neighborhood after they moved in.
Yeah, that's all it was dismay.
And it led to them doing the whole, I'm going to sit outside your house with tables and radios.
Yep, you're going to sit outside your house in the heat.
Drinking tea and lemonade.
It was hot out there, hot.
Playing the battery powered radio.
As loud as they could, facing their home.
Cigarettes.
Something that they would never have done otherwise. And y'all want to know something? Y'all don't like this? You don't like how these certain movies portray white people as racist and evil and mean girls and all this and overt racism and murderous and lynching. You don't like it, but the problem is it hasn't ended. That's the problem. And this is how these communities operated. Yes, it was all white and they had, you think this was a perfect community. You know how much crap was really going on under the scene?
But it didn't matter because it was all homogenized. It was all them, all white people.
So you get a black couple moving in with their kids, and all of a sudden you get the whole stare down, the gathering, the murmurs. And instead of the white person saying, hey, chill it. This isn't right. You're messing up our perfect neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then they start antagonizing. They start hanging the black baby dolls around them. Let
me get into this real quick. Uh-huh. See, they didn't know how to do it. They knew they didn't like them, so they did their Mean Girl radio thing. But after they did that, they didn't drive them out. It's like, oh well, shit. What do we do now? Yep. They had no idea. We don't want to break the law. They weren't like white folks in the South back in the 40s. They were like, fuck the fucking law. You know, John T. Sheriff was beside me doing the exact same fucking thing.
Yep.
They were. You can't even call it overt. It was just like
in the South they had hoods. They had white hoods with the eyes cut out. No one knows who they are. They just know they white, and all the shit that happens. Well, who knows who that was? It could have been anybody, is what the cops would say. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that can be done because we don't know who that is.
Although everybody live in the same town, you know, everybody's voice and everybody's shoes and everybody's trucks.
You've got 50 people that live there. That means 25 of them are men. And there's 25 people that showed up in hoods. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But hey, you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. You know,
so they didn't know how to do it. So they had to get creative. So, you know, yeah, they put up all the blackface dolls, hanging them from their house.
And then scorch into the earth.
Nigga Haven.
Yep.
Heaven, excuse me.
Haven. No, it would be heaven.
It was heaven.
And, I mean, antagonizing them. Shouting stuff at them. And yeah, that happens to be what white people do even today. Even today. Think of all that happened under, you know, the time of Barack Obama as president. And then think about what was happening as Donald Trump was president. Okay? I mean, they stormed the Capitol and had nooses hung up. Just think about that. Just think about it. And then with the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff, and then, you know, white people crossing double state lines and shooting people, killing them. Come on. And then after it's over, still crossing state lines and shooting up Asian women. I mean, come on. Even, you know, the white kid with the gun that went to the black church that welcomed him, you know, like he was family, and he shot up the church, killing 9 women because he's tired of the men taking their white women like their property. This didn't happen back then. This happened now, our time. It doesn't end. If you don't want movies to show stuff like this, you have to make sure you act like this stuff has happened and act like you don't want it to happen and act better than these people in the movies. Instead of mimicking the movies, just say, no, that's fantasy. We're not like that. We accept. We are cool with. We see an interracial couple, you know, we're fine with it. If a black person walks down the street, we're not going to run and kowtow and all this and be all, yeah, we hate you. We agree with everyone that hates you. No, you would despise those that show that vitriol. That's what you would do. These movies, they're just telling you about yourself. They're exposing the business. You don't like them because you look in the mirror, you know how you feel. You know what you would do. And you can't stand it. That's the truth. And this movie has stuff in there. Honestly, some of it looks so bad that I didn't even believe the white people's acting. I was like, that don't make sense.
Like what?
For example, when they gathered up in the beginning and they don't know what to do. And Betty is like, this is ours. And in the meeting.
Oh, the meeting.
That meeting when she wanted her husband to show up,
and he didn't.
But he didn't. And she takes the realms, and then the brunette, the reins, and then the brunette is listening and being drawn in. And she's like, yay, and clapping and stuff. I'm like, something don't seem real with this. It just seems stupid. Like this, you know, because that woman didn't even care one lick really about that black family from what you saw of her. She was kind of apathetic, but like, this is strange.
Okay.
Never, you know, like you could tell how she acted. Like she wasn't overt. She didn't even show anger or disgust.
It was dismay. They all showed the same dismay. She was one of the ones standing there when they first pulled up.
It's just she did during that meeting. She didn't show that dismay. She's like, I'm listening, but I'm not sure if I'm convinced. And then at some point, just, oh my, the spirit took over, and yay, clappy, clappy, clappy. I was like, something is wrong.
She was already a fangirl of the woman talking.
It seemed weird. Maybe if I look back at it now, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll see. But at the time when I saw it, I'm like, that don't look real. And then this woman up there talking and the men not shutting her down. I'm like, I don't know. Because that would be embarrassing. A guy wouldn't stand for that shit. Back then, the macho male pride that we think everyone, you want to show this stuff with the overt racism, the babies hanging, the burning, and all this other stuff. Why would a dude be like, okay, I'm going to let my woman or any woman just, take the reins,
yeah,
and lead all of us and get the crowd behind her. And the dude, what was the dude saying? Look, we don't want to go to jail. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be safe.
So I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain this to you. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Remember Rosewood?
Yes.
All them men knew the woman screaming rape by a black man was a whore. Half of them had fucked her.
Yes.
But they did it anyway because it was a
black
white
person.
Woman.
Okay. They gotta stick up. It's your pride. I get that. But
that shit's strong. That shit is strong.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm like, wouldn't she sat there and emasculated one dude?
Yeah, because he got up there. Yeah, well we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it. Yeah, he had no idea what the fuck to do. He was just gonna try to be up there and swing his dick and think that was enough when they actually wanted ideas. And then some ideas were given. He couldn't. There's nothing he could say. There's nothing he could do. Nothing he could say.
If everyone did that to everyone, when they say, "Yeah, we're gonna fix this and we're gonna do it quickly," I wish everyone in this country, in real life, would say, "How?" And instead of accepting, well, I just told you how we're gonna do it quick. No. I need specifics. Mm-hmm. I wish everyone would do that. And that's honestly how I pretty much ruined my friendships when I asked for specifics.
But she didn't even give specifics.
No.
All she did was start talking about a better time when their forefathers built this country on their back.
Southern strategy, the shit out of it.
And yeah, that's all she did. She built up that pride.
This ain't a gift. This is our
nationalism. And they were like, "We're gonna go to hell for you, Betty."
And people want to hear about it, Betty. So, if y'all know where that came from, that y'all get a cookie. Y'all get an e-cookie. I can't cook. Not a cookie anyway. Anyway, so they go through the meeting, they do the thing, and afterwards, we're going to rev it up. And all this time, the black family is going through their own shit with the poltergeist, the haunting, the PTSD on three ends. She's got hers with the baby, and white people in general. So that's why on the second day she comes out with the gun. You motherfuckers, you stay away. And then you got dude that's like, not only he's like, we didn't even see action. We just got used as test rats. And so, and white people did that to him. So he's got that.
Not to mention the whole, I was not there to protect my wife.
Because if he was there, it would have been different.
That guilt that he was harboring.
And he kind of reclaimed that when he was on the roof putting up the antenna, and they came over. We want to talk to you about it. Because what happened? Oh yeah, Lucky comes out and she sees this white boy pissing
on the sheets.
Just pissing
on her clean sheets out down the line.
She gets so he runs, pick up a stick. She goes up and snatches from him, and next thing you know, she got this beautiful stride, chasing him down. And here is the mistake every TV series, every movie, and every real life human being, non-character but dumbass minded human being make. She gets there, the boy is hiding.
Behind his mama.
Yep, behind his mom. Why did Lucky not say, your boy was pissing on my sheets?
Yeah, I wish she had said that.
I chased him with the stick because he was going to hit me with it. And I was going to whack him one good time with it because somebody need to. Somebody got to straighten that boy out. He pissed. He came into my yard way up the street. He could have gone to anyone's yard and he came to mine. You raised him racist and he showed it. And if I popped him across his head one good time or whacked him across his ass or something, maybe that'll set him straight. But no, I know what would happen. We know what would happen. She would have hit him and she would have been the perpetrator. He would have been the victim and no one would have been accountable for the fact that they raised an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's what would have happened.
And shit, that's what did happen. Betty's
nope,
like,
because they never talked.
Wait a minute, but Betty's like, tell him what happened. She hit him. No, she didn't hit him. She chased him with a branch. It was more like a stick. She was doing everything she could.
Yes. She hit him. Nope.
To make like some savage went after this poor boy who was minding his business.
Everything.
Praying at the cross.
And the crowd, you look at their eyes, just like we're searching. How angry should we be? Are we level 5, like we just don't like black people, or are we 10? They did something we can get them on. We don't know what to do. What do we do? You could see them searching. They were confused. They was confuzzled. Okay, they were flummoxed. They were bumfuzzled. You know, all the Jim Cornette things. Mm-hmm. And they went through all the tropes. And as one of the reviews said, that they put so much in here because then you got the engineering job that Mr. Emery has, and the crap going on there. It's like, hey, we got the Pentagon contract. Hey, don't worry about it. You don't need to go there. It's just some old shindig. He shows up and he finds out, we get a share of the profits. And then dude's like, this guy, he doesn't want to meet you. Don't worry about it. I know you don't understand. You're good. It's like, oh, fuck you. And so Mr. Emery goes over and says, he introduces himself, says where they have a good connection. The guy likes him. So the boss is like, fuck you. Now you're fired, yada, yada, because you made me look like a fool, yada, yada. And it's like, man, fuck you. And
so let me address
I just want to speed through that scene. I just want to speed through all that happened there. Oh, there was a cool white dude, the one that sat across from.
Oh yeah, that was the one that let him know that he was being watched at all times.
And he was like, "Up too late," because I was like, "Motherfucker, stepping like he a goddamn dog." Mm-hmm. Fuck you. But the way that he was doing it's almost like he would do that to anybody. Because he was like, "Too late." Like he's been there before. Yeah, so okay, maybe this dude's
an asshole.
Yeah.
But let me read this thing that was this review because I want to address it. Some review person out there said them suffers from an overcrowded narrative and too many themes, making for an uneven, dizzying, at times overly dense viewing experience. From the violent neighbors and the history of black home ownership to the traumas that plague each member of the Emery family, the show takes on more than it can responsibly unpack. So I disagree with this 90%. The 10% I agree with it is the part concerning Betty. Betty is one of the evilest characters on the show, but they attempt to humanize her by showing you where she was fucked up, where her trauma stems from, why she's got this overwhelming need for everything to be pure and perfect. But she's such a fucking racist dick.
You don't care.
You don't care. You don't care what
No, not you. We didn't care.
Okay, we didn't care what happens to Betty.
Third wave feminists, blind feminists, and cheerleaders out there, they'll be on her side like crazy. Damn what race they are.
I don't know if their goal was to make you, she's not so bad in her continuing racism. She's not so bad in the fact that she calls the milkman over every day. Calls the milkman over to actually do something and it's.
But not fuck them though.
But not so. The whole little segment having to do with Betty was unnecessary. They could have cut that out and decrowded it some. But for the 90% that I disagree with this quote on, I'm gonna read it again. From the violent neighbors to the history of black home ownership to the traumas that plague each member of the Emery family, the show takes on more than it can responsibly unpack.
That was a fucked up line with the word responsible.
Yeah, all the things that they dealt with, when you're dealing with situations like this, they don't come individually. oh, mom got raped and the baby got killed. We're going to deal with this situation to completion, and then we'll address the racism that Henry Emery suffers with at work.
Yeah.
To completion.
Yeah, who wrote this grew up watching Family Ties and Family Matters and shit.
And then we'll deal with Ruby Lee wanting to be beautiful and perfect at White, and White to completion. No, you can't do that in 10 episodes. 2 shows are too short nowadays. They're not like Cheers, where you watch them for 9 months out of the year for fucking 11 years. No, it's not like that anymore. And so it's going to come back to back to back in a very compact form. But trauma is like that. It's not. It doesn't happen in nice little neat packages for all you to be able to understand. And the way they did it, it was in such an overt way. What is there to unpack? It's unpacked. This is what they're going through. You want more information about it? Go do some research. Go do some research on the history of your country. Then you'll see it. So yeah, that was bullshit.
Let me talk about Betty. Let me tell Betty's story. Betty grew up with her father and mother, and her father was raping her. Obviously a lot. The mother found out, but instead of blaming the father, because mom got no money, father got all the power, so you blame the daughter. Get the daughter out. Daughter leaves. Daughter gets married. Daughter is gone and doesn't come back unless she absolutely needs something. Her husband realizes she's just using him, and he done lost all give a shit about her. Period. He lost every ounce of give a shit about her. Drained the account of all but just a little bit. Don't recall seeing him much after that part. So she gets molested and stuff.
He didn't even get a chance to find out that she knew because she called the milkman.
Yeah, she was up. So she's molested, gets older, moves, marries Compton, and then got her perfect car, her perfect walls, her perfect outfits, her perfect home, and that he obviously says that he provided. It's like, you don't ask about that shit when I got you everything you wanted. And she's kind of like, huh? She always looked like she was one thing from stepping the fuck out. Okay?
She was.
So her racist ass does her racist shit. She's a part of the ones that hung the goddamn thing, burned the shit in the yard, orchestrating or dictating, not necessarily all doing, not hands on, and the story tries to humanize her with the whole, hey, let's go, gotta go back to dad, gotta ask for money. Dad's like, all right, I think you need to take a bath. I think it's bath time. And he goes up to draw her a bath, and he's getting out of his clothes like it's business as usual. The mother's like, God, I wish you never came back. And
gives her some white linens or something. Like, this has all happened before. Yep. I mean, not like the father did it alone. The mother knew about this and was like, you came back, is what you got to do.
And so Betty, wow, a moment where you want to cheer for her. That the softest clap on the planet. She says, no, I'm going to leave. So she leaves. The power of Betty. Yay, we cheer for the racist. You're a fucking racist. I would love to take the mind of, look, all that racism shit, this molestation is innocent of, but God damn it. After trying to destroy a family, I'm like, I can't care.
Yeah, they could have admitted that. Maybe they needed filler or something. I don't know. I mean, so it allowed you to see the acting prowess of the woman who played her.
Because her acting is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. She don't break character. And so now she calls the milkman. The milkman's like, hey, come on over.
I'll do whatever you want.
And she gets there, and he's like, hey, go easy on that drink. And then she takes so much and she's knocked out because he drugged it. Probably had it ready for her for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then locked her up in this small silo where he recreated things the way she would like it, and dressed her and started trying to take care of her and was cooking for her. And it's like, this is perfect. I have what I want and I'm so happy, And yeah, okay, now she's kidnapped but not raped. And ultimately, she finds a way to get out. She opens the thing because it was a test.
Yeah.
It was a test. She opens it, gets out, and runs away. And he, with a sniper, shoots her in the back, kills her. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
That's the end of Betty.
So,
while at the same time,
not her husband,
Henry Emery,
is getting
tortured.
Getting the shit kicked out of him by
over fucking Betty.
Like, what have you done with her? You know what it's like?
I don't know. I've never even looked at her. You don't think she's a good looking woman? Like, say what?
Now here, that was the trap.
Yes.
That was the trap. It's like, you know what? I don't like you gay people. We don't like you. Well, wow, what's wrong with me? What the fuck? But I'm like, that's where this story, I'm like, that shit is weird. It is mind boggling. If you're out there listening, and I know that this has been a long one, this is 50 minutes in, and you probably don't even feel like it's been that long, Sidra, but it's 50 minutes in, and I'm just, help me. What? If you've ever done it, if you've ever been in, if you're out there listening, and you got this far, this scene, when they're torturing Henry, these white guys, there's only one though, he's leading the pack, he's like, accusing Henry Emery, the black guy, of doing something with, I think he called her Miss Betty at a few times, but did something with Betty, a white woman. Okay? Kidnapped her, killed her or something. And he wants to know what he's done. Why? Because she's missing. And why would you assume him? Because you hate him because he's black. Not listening to, I don't believe you. It's like, your belief is not reality.
Cedric.
And it's like, y'all got to help me. How does it make sense to blame somebody for something when every iota of irrational and rational reasoning points to that shit could not possibly be? For example, when the apathetic, those that are, and the over, and those who were just have a bias, the racist out there that'll blame black people, will blame mainly black women for having lots of kids on purpose so that they don't have to work and the government take care of all their kids. They just have all these kids and they get to have lobster and steak off of food stamps, the things that they don't buy with food stamps, but they keep saying it. How do you go with a belief that's not true and yet keep believing it no matter how much evidence points against it? How the fuck can you do that and call yourself a sound person? Why are these people not up for mental evaluation? I don't understand
so
it.
So let's pause. Whether people do not strive to be sound persons. 1. 2, it's the Bucho effect.
Okay, she was here, she's gone, and you're here. Has anyone seen The Milkman?
No. The Milkman is a part of everything. It's a staple. Just like in Desperado. There is a staple. There is a foundation. There is a basic state of everything. And the Milkman coming every day is a basic state of everything. A white woman goes missing. I recognize everybody but you. It must be them.
Okay.
Now you pile on the racist and the prejudice and the irrationality. But the very baseline is the Bucho effect. Now, the Clark, whose wife was missing, he didn't think that the black folks kidnapped his wife. He didn't know what to think. He just know the woman's gone, the car's gone, the purse is gone, the room is trashed. The ones that she galvanized with her good old speech were the ones like, our leader is missing. It must be them.
I like when Henry was on that roof and he told them, they said, I want you to come down. Now, the decent guy was like, well, come down here and tell your story, your side of what happened. And the other like, yeah, come on down here, or we got to come up there after you. It's like, you come up here and y'all going down the hard way. And it's like, well, come on down here. If I come down there, I'm going to drop you. And he And he told exactly the order he'd do it. Mm-hmm. And you could see he's like, man, do I need to come down there? And they kind of like, all three of them. Yeah, they were scared. I wouldn't have been dumb enough to be over there. It's like, is he bothering anybody? Is he doing anything? No. But let's go over there and fuck with him. That shit is aggravating.
From their side, yes, he is bothering someone. Yes, he is doing something. He is there.
Okay. To an extreme, they're liking it like, some extremely large arachnid in the corner of the home or something. Then I would have to fucking side with the racists because I fear spiders that much. But
there you go. You hit the nail on the head.
And here's the thing.
Fear.
Yes, but here's the thing. If the spider looked, sounded, and talked like a human, I would not be afraid of it until it's like, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, fine. Shake hands and then legs grow out the back of them. I'm going to freak the fuck out. Okay, there's a thing. This guy ain't that. He is trying to put an antenna up because he bought a TV. He moved in with his family, hasn't left to bother anyone, and everyone's fucking with him. And if he decided to, I don't know why, he doesn't come out and say, okay, everyone, I know you don't want a black person in your neighborhood. This house was up for sale. It said that on the deed that no black person is allowed to be here, yada, yada, yada. And we wanted to, and I was like, well, we need to abide by that. But she sold it to us. She said it would be a small price and we needed a home because we had to get away from the South where there was so much racism. They killed our baby. They killed our son. The white racists went as far as to kill our child. And we came out here so that we could get away from that. Are y'all going to be the same way? Are y'all really going to do the same thing that those racist people did down there?
You're not wanted here.
You know what? Maybe you aren't wanted here. How many of y'all been fucking each other under the cover? Because if you find out, you'll probably be amazed.
All that shit don't matter.
I know. It's let me harken back to what you said at the beginning of the whole movie.
What?
And you said it, and I wanted to challenge it, but I was like, You said, ain't nothing worse than a group of scared white people.
And I had a caveat to that. I was like, people say it all the time. They do. And I can't say that there's nothing worse. But there are things, and you said there are things that equal it.
Yeah, I said, I want to combat you. And I said, no, you're right. There's nothing worse, but there's a lot that's equal.
Scared white people.
These series will make you want to hate some white people. But man, can y'all please just hear me?
If you just look back through history.
If you look through all the history, even up to today, you could talk about black on black crime, but man, white people have killed way more black people than black people ever could.
And it's all rooted. The first thing that one of the men in this neighborhood said, like, how old's the daughter? Somewhere between 8 and 30. Who can tell with these people? Where do you think she's going to go to school? To high school? We don't want our son getting with some mud baby. That's all they're afraid of. That we want to breed with them. That's what the racist white people.
I know. While they take their time raping us,
that we want to breed with them. I don't.
It's
So all they did was get together with their fear and get more and more afraid as they riled each other up.
And Ruby ultimately, after some shit, goes to the mental asylum.
No, Lucky.
Yeah, I said Ruby. Yeah, Lucky goes, and man, the husband's like, I want to visit my wife. I want to see her, let her know that everything's okay. Oh no, you can't. They'll just undo everything. And then later she's like, I want to see him. I want to get a message out to him. No, he's scared of you. The whole family's scared of you. They can't. I'm like, you fucking bitch.
This show puts a lot in it, but it puts the real in it. Things that happened in psych wards back in the day.
After the fourth episode, it's all right. It starts to flow. The acting makes sense, except honestly, the little girl, the kids, the two kids, okay, the littlest girl, it just makes no sense. Her timing, daddy or mommy is always ill-timed and overacting.
That's the director's fault.
Overacting. I'm like, that don't make sense. That wouldn't happen ever.
That's
and then after the lynching of her father, and he lived because, you know, older daughter said, fuck this shit. After she's quiet, she says nothing. Little girl says nothing. He falls to the floor. The dude runs off, daddy, real loud, and runs out and runs to go comfort him or whatever the fuck. I'm like, you couldn't have said that at any other time, but you got to say it now.
That's the director's fault.
I'm like, yeah, but this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, so it's like you're into it, you're with it, and then that stupid shit happens, and you're like, now I'm snapped out of it. Y'all some dumbasses.
Everything that they
what's the teenager girl's name?
Ruby.
She was Ruby.
Ruby Lee.
Okay, Ruby Lee. Okay.
Everything they go over so much. I love the fact of what they have Ruby go through.
Okay, because I was about to talk about let's go through Ruby real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Ruby's there. She believes that the mother killed her brother.
Now this happens, but we got to talk about Ruby before that.
It's all no. She mentioned it before that she thinks so. And we commented like the fuck, and then all the shit that happened, we kind of just got lost in the frame.
Yeah, and that's the parents' fault because they didn't tell her what happened.
Because you know why talk? You know, yeah, why talk? Why say anything to somebody that's listening?
It's so terrible, and your mother is damn near out her fucking mind. It's so terrible. But we ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah, we ain't gonna tell you what happened, you know, because fuck that. So she has to go to this school, and she doesn't want to be like her mom because she thinks her mom did this horrible fucking thing.
And she thinks she's crazy.
And so she's like, I don't want to be like mom no matter what. And she goes to this school where she goes in and experiences some shit that I would have gone through in school. When she goes in and the teacher asks a question, she answers it. And as soon as she answers it, everyone starts making monkey and gorilla sounds and laughing. The teacher calls her up, and I'm like, man, yeah, you got to help her. No, sends her to detention
for disrupting the
class. Fuck that shit. That's why you have to be an advocate for your child. You just can't say, teacher said it, so I believe it. Listen to your kid. Listen. Because adults ain't no goddamn difference. All they want to do is do some stupid shit and cover their ass. All right, so be an advocate for your child. Yeah, your child's gonna do stuff you don't want to believe or trust, but man, there's gonna be times your kid come and tell you the absolute truth of some shit that happened with something. You need to be listening at all times. Know your kid. Know the limits. Know the levels. Know how and when and why they function, because you're raising a future adult. So you have to make sure you teach that kid, if anything, justice must be had. Honest, true justice. So some shit jump off and you talk to your kid and it is not what the teacher is saying, then you don't sit there and say, well, what can you do about it? No, you take your kid to the teacher and you be like, hey, your story was this, my kid is this. We're going to find out what the truth is. Are you lying to cover what stupid mess you did or what? You need to get off your mental ass and be an advocate for your kids at all points. And trust me, I'm the one that's been waiting on some shit to jump off. I've been waiting. But they don't have to be around their teacher, so I ain't worried about it now anyway. Because, you know, I don't want to get COVID and die. Any case, so Ruby Lee, her middle name Lee, Ruby Lee Emery. Mm-hmm. She said her name so quick one time it almost sounded like just But anyway, she is tormented. Okay, she gets to the point where this white girl is just talking to her, being nice to her, and taking her to these places, and it's like, yeah, we get to do this and sneak off and do that, and it's not that she's not broken mentally. She's spiritually being broken mentally by the minion. I'll just call him that for now, the minion. And she paints herself white, goes out in front of everyone. They're looking at her like, what the fuck? And we're all like, no, man. It was so cringe. People don't know what cringe is. That is fucking cringe. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. I don't say that shit like anyone else. No, I felt that I was embarrassed. I felt the little numbing feeling and a little bit of sweat beating up and wanting to just curl up into myself like, oh man, I can't be associated with you. This is terrible. I was there. I was like, who are you? Find me a contract so I can disown this motherfucker properly. That's where I was. And she goes out in front of everyone in just white face and starts cheering out of her fucking mind. And the dad finds her. She's like back at home by now, and the mom's wiping the stuff off her face. But she don't want to be like mom. So later, she's at home, but not seeing herself because it's like you're going to envision you're somewhere else. And her white friend is like, hey, I'm looking like this. I'm kind of fucked up. And she's like, I want to be like mom. Oh, you're not going to be like mom. Then put this bag over your head. You know what? I'm going to kick your ass and slam your head into the mirror. Yay, break the mirror. Hey, guess what? Ruth's going to get some glass and try to cut her way out the bag, but she's not cutting the bag. She's slowly cutting her own face. And the mom is like, hey, baby, like, baby, what? I'm here, baby. I'm here. And I'm like, and when Lucky approaches her daughter pulls out the shard of glass and she's like, oh shit.
Yeah, because in what she's seeing, mom's trying to kill her.
And so then she kind of lowers it, and then the mom goes up and hugs her. I'm like, I'm serious. My thought was, you stupid bitch. She still got the weapon in her hand.
She gonna shank you.
Why are you stupid? Why are you dumb? This, you don't, like black people, you don't take your eye off the weapon. That's just natural, right? I thought that was like one of them staple black things. In the movies, you see in TV shows, white people always take the eye out of the weapon. They always doing some shit, leaving the doors open like these motherfuckers did. I was like, how you gonna approach someone that just pulled a weapon on you, ready to use it, and just walk up like, it's okay now? I'm like, no, put the fucking shard down. Drop the shank. Fuck that shit. You got to drop that, baby. You holding it so tight, your hand's bleeding. You gotta let that go. You cutting yourself. I know what you're gonna do to me. Put it down. And then, so they coming to, yay, it's all getting together, sort of, because they got to wrap it up. And I'm like, just, what the fuck? And so it's getting better, kind of. And it all started with, what's the little girl name? The youngest one?
Gracie.
Yeah, Gracie? Okay. It's getting to the point, because mom had to get out of the insane asylum, which was a good way. She did that well, turned the tables and stuff, using their arrogance against them, got out, and she gets home. She had to let out a primal scream because, white people got in her way and was like, saying every racial trope that you could think of. And she lets out a primal scream and they just shut the fuck up. And I'm like, man. So she gets back in the house and that's when she finds her. She goes down there and the whole shank thing, and then she's like, we got to beat this. And then the daughter's like, the youngest daughter, Gracie, is like, what the fuck? And she's like, it ain't over yet. And had to battle Miss Vera. Had to battle her. She was whooping the shit out of Gracie, and she had to go in there and she had to fight Miss Vera. Miss Vera's like, bitch, I'll kill you. And then she screamed in the face. And then the daughter's like, Gracie's like, fuck this. You ain't gonna be my mom. You ain't gonna ever be like my mom. She goes and get that book and rip the page out and then the whole creature starts to crumble. And it's like, yay, you did it. You did it good. And the mom got spit out the closet where they were, or wherever the fuck they were.
Yeah, they were in the closet.
And now they got to go get the dad. And well, actually after that, they went and got Ruby. Mm-hmm. And then they had to go get the dad who was in the movie theater, but like, was it the den or the kitchen? It was a kitchen. It was some weird room. It didn't like a kitchen, but it wasn't the living room or the den. I don't know where the fuck it was.
Maybe he was in their bedroom. Yeah.
In the kids' bedroom?
He was in their bedroom, their master bedroom.
Oh, the master bedroom? Okay, yeah. That place they rarely show.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're there, and it's like, what the fuck? And then the dude come out with the, I don't know his name, but he was fucking with him, and I'm going to be honest with you, he was funny. He was funny and scary. The man with the black hat, that guy. Because when they first showed him, I was like, it looked like some white dude with white face it's like some white dude with black face on that painted white over the face. That's what it looked like. But I was like, okay, it's a black dude with black face. No, black dude with the white face with the black face painted on top. That's kind of how it's all about how you want to see it. Because you can just say it was a black dude with black face with white paint on it. Or flip it,
Yeah. And
so he was fucking with him and pulling a Richard Pryor. He was like, "What you gonna do?" It's like, "I'm telling you what the fuck." It's like, "Hey, what you gonna do?" So you get that shit going, and he's pushing him to the edge. He's like, "I'm gonna go to my dad. I'm not dad, but I'm gonna go to the boss's house." Roll up in there. Wife didn't even know he was there. And Sidra was like, "Oh shit, that's fucked up. That's scary." And I was like, "Yeah, you wouldn't think somebody would be in your house." But then again, they left the door open. Leaving the door open. Why the fuck would you leave the home door open?
But that's how shit was.
And back then, when you hear about all those serial killers, they never broke into a home. Ever. No serial killer ever broke into a home back then. Never, because the doors were always unlocked. Why have keys to the house if you're never going to lock it? It's your house.
Because there was an overwhelming feeling of safety.
The only time you keep your house unlocked is when you are at the door. That's it. You're on the porch. You want to get back in. You are in the house, in the den, watching TV with the door open. Okay, fine. Yeah, and just as bad somebody could roll up in there with a gun, kill everybody real quick. Yes. However, it would make sense because you're right there. And if you're in the neighborhood where nothing happens, it makes sense to be like, I'm trusting to leave the door open. And back in the day, you could leave the screen door locked and the main door open, letting the house cool off and shit at night. That's how it was when I was a kid, because nothing happened on the street I was living on. I mean, even today, nothing happens, even though they're gentrifying it, but still. So he goes in and he surveys everything, pisses in the toilet in there, Emery had to kill a dude though. He had to kill a dude before he went in there.
He didn't kill him.
Oh, he didn't?
He just knocked him out.
Oh, because he hit him. It was like, it sounded real bad, blood everywhere.
There was no blood.
He did.
On the pavement? No.
Yeah, what was that shit then?
I didn't see any shit. We had to go back and look at it. I didn't see no blood.
I saw blood. Put it like this, it was clear, and then there were spots. So, I assumed blood.
You have to look at it again.
It's blood, I said. Any case, so, I'll just compromise. He knocks dude out bloodily. All right.
There wasn't no damn blood.
Ain't no one to compromise with you.
I can't.
Was he around? Was he walking around later? Did they show that dude walking around later? That white dude.
They didn't show him walking around before that point, but no.
There you go. He did kill the cop.
Oh yeah, he killed the fuck out of him.
So, and that cop, I thought he was I was like, he a decent dude. Nope. He was worse than the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, that pissed me off. So, fuck him, he did. I'm like, he shot this gun in the neighborhood and nobody came out.
It was in a different neighborhood. They were somewhere else.
Ah, okay. Yeah, he did follow the cop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, after all this shit and talking shit in the diner and all this other stuff, he's at home. He's like, and the top hat dude is like, I'm going to show you what happened. And he yells at him to sit down. And I was like, oh shit, it was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So he watches what happens to his wife. He sees it. He ain't happy by it and all. And, okay. And it's bad. It's bad. So, the wife comes and finds him before he gets up and do anything. So that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
and snaps him out of it, but he realizes it ain't really over. Not for me.
Because he's still in the corner asking him what you gonna do.
Yep. And then he shot him and pulled out his handkerchief and smeared the paint off, and it was a white dude with black face and white on the eyes and mouth. You know, I mean, obviously just movie magic. You know, it's like obvious because the whole head, the shape of the head and everything changed. You know, hair changed, all that shit changed. So, I mean, they tried though. At least I give them an A for effort. You know, A for attempt. Let's change that. I give them an A for attempt. Give them an E for effort. It's failing anyway. So that happens, and he's like, "It's over." She's like, "No, it ain't. We got to go deal with the real thing." So she goes down there and she sees the dude. The dude's like, "Don't you want to be, you know, at peace or whatnot?" And she's like, "Oh, my baby." And then she realizes, I've been clinging on to my kid.
Mm-hmm.
My baby gone.
You can't cling on to the dead. No point. Not like that.
And she got put in an insane asylum. I should have said this earlier because she dug the kid up and had him in the box.
Yeah, when they moved from North Carolina, he was buried there. And, you know, the decision to leave was not hers. And she could not leave him behind because she had not let him go.
Severely not let him go. So, and they still haven't resolved the fact that, you know, the Ruby still thinks mom killed. So, yeah.
I think that supposedly was resolved when she expressed to her that she would never hurt her and Ruby dropped the shank.
I can't help but think like today somebody would slap the shit out of Ruby. We ever hold no goddamn knife to me like that. I don't care if it's a piece of glass or not. Oh, it's your goddamn mind. But that'd be some Marlon Wayans comedy thing though.
But that's how that got resolved.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I never hurt you, but it never said I didn't do what you think I did.
And that's why she apologized to her for, you know, it's like she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. It's not, I'm sorry that I want to be white. It's I'm sorry that I thought that you could do this.
It's like my mom is ugly. I don't want to be ugly like my mom. I want to be white. I want to be
perfect. She never said. I think they did that by on purpose. She never said, I want to be white. She said, I want to be perfect and beautiful.
And she probably saw her mom as ugly. It's like she did an ugly thing, so she's ugly. And I don't want to be like her.
And she was crazy. It was like because after the child died, she was not herself. She was doing off the wall
and here's
shit.
The thing. That's really oversimplifying it. It ain't that her child died. It's how the whole situation. Shit, she ain't even got to the trauma of her rape.
It's the death of the child supersedes the rape.
Oh yes, by far.
Yeah,
but the rape, that was white people holding her down so she can't do shit to protect her child or herself. And that's why when she went outside with that gun, it's like, you stay the fuck away from my family and all that. She was trying. It's like, look, the optics of this looks kind of bad, honey. You might want to come on in. So now she goes down to deal with the dude. Now, slight backtrack, very slight. You find out that this dude, this preacher's like, hey.
He wasn't a preacher.
No, he was
just a highly religious member of a highly religious community that were religious per the Bible, not per a church.
But they looked up to him like he was.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that. He explained there's no hierarchy. We're all brothers and sisters. But after his child and his wife died, and he found that boy in the bushes.
After a deep prayer, you know, I just ask one thing of you, Lord. Why have you taken my family? Just give me an answer. Just a sign, something. And then he hears a rustling, and then he gets up and walks over, and the boy is there. And it's like, oh, the Lord answered. And I'm like, you're a fucking nut.
After that, you started having nice, deep conversations with the Lord. And he would tell people about his conversation. And the Lord said specifically to me, yada, 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 yada. And that's why they kept saying, you know, the Lord only talks to him. The Lord only talks to him. You know, and that dude who was saying it, he was saying like in a full of shit manner. But everyone else was hearing it. And it's like, You keep saying the Lord talks to him. He's the only one that's saying anything to kind of lead us. So
you shut the fuck up.
And then the whole thing with the water. He's a prophet.
And once you become prophet, you become leader. And the other dude's like, yeah, but he a prophet, but he weak. Mm-hmm. He's weak. Why is he weak? Because he ain't hating black people.
And he said, yes, I was weak, but then the Lord told me different.
The whole scene of his story put all the bigotry, vitriolic hatred that white-toned racists have. It spits it right in their fucking face. It exposes them for the emotional charlatans that they are. Because the black couple, their wagon broke down. Invite them in, treat them like equals, and they hated on them. Okay? And then they asked the girl, the wife, what language did your mama speak? What language did your mama speak? And they laughing and snickering, speaking with their deep ass goddamn Norwegian accent or something.
I don't know what they were speaking.
It was like, no, Romanian. They sounded closer to Romanian. I could be absolutely wrong, but they sounded really close to Romanian, while the others seemed more of like a Scottish dialect or something.
I don't know.
Or something thereof. All right? Something. And I'm like, you're going to ask this English-speaking person what language her mother spoke, and then laugh when she says, that was so long ago, we done lost that. All we got now, I guess we're just American. And they laughed with their accent, and then going to insult her in their native tongue, as if they belong there themselves. That's some fucked up shit to come to another country, claim it as your own, not speaking the language perfectly, and might I add, without an accent, and then talk about somebody like they don't fucking belong there. Those people can go fuck themselves. Real life, movie life, all of you can go fuck yourselves, because that spits in your fucking face. It shows you as the charlatans and pieces of shit you are. You are walking contradictions, because that is some fucked up shit. And I've always disliked it. And
you know why they don't think they're contradiction?
And it's shown a lot in that series Warrior. But go ahead.
Because she wasn't a person.
Because black people,
they were animals.
They saw them as animals.
That's why she went on to ask her, so how does it come out?
Yeah, how's your baby born? Does it get on just run along? They know better. No, they know better. They all know better. They all know better. I cannot view anyone at any given junction of history from now to before the founding of this country by others, and before that, even back to the Sumerian era, okay? I cannot ascertain the belief that they would believe that someone of a different skin tone's child or anything of them is different. I really, because I'm like, no, you will lie to yourselves just to hurt somebody. You got to subjugate something. You have to overlord on something. That is the point of these assholes. Every one of them. Every single one of them. Because if it's not black people you're going to pick on, it'll be your own, and you'll find a way. It'll be financial. It'll be what side of the tracks they're on. It'll be status. It'll be what clothes that they can or cannot afford. It'll be what kind of car they drive. It'll be what kind of, homeowners assurance they got. It'll be something. You will find something to hate and subjugate something over. That's just your fucking fucked up nature. That is the truth. If it's not blacks, it'll be the Mexicans. If it ain't them, it'll be the Asians. If it ain't them, it'll be the Islanders. And if it ain't them, it's going to be the Greasers. They were white. It'll be the Socialists hating on the Greasers. Remember that movie? Everyone loved Pony Boy. Come on. It's going to be something. White people are going to hate those that like rock and roll. They're going to hate those that like grunge. They're going to hate those that like new age country. They're going to dislike those that like rap. They're going to dislike those that like, heavy metal, grunge, death metal, anything. They got to hate. They got to hate. That's the truth of it. That's the truth. And this exploits the fuck out of it. That's one, when I was looking at it, I was like, tribalistic stupidity is all that it is. That's what it is. And it exploited it. And they were so stupid, they didn't even realize when there was a fire around them as they burned the bodies of people that did nothing but try to do good for them. But then he makes a pact with the devil, and the devil lets him know, he didn't answer you, not once, but I did. And I'm going to make you an offer. And you got to hurt black people from here to the end of time. That's going to be, and he was giving him a punishment because that guy knew full well and know that, hey, these black people that came here, they were to be treated as equal and to be treated good. They harmed no one, but all of you had nothing but hate and venom at them. And I'm supposed to be teaching you to be okay and love them. And then he sold himself out because his ego. He got concerned that others were not going to look at him as strongly as before. And then kid, quote unquote, devil, hey, this part of the Bible here sort of contradicts itself in a sense. Read this. And when he read it, everyone was like, yay, slavery.
I'm a interject in 1 second. He was not functioning off his ego. This dude. It
just seemed, I'm trying to, as much as bad as it is, I was trying to give him an out.
No, there was no out. This dude was a complete servant of God. And he knew that he was having conversations with God. And God was telling him what he needed to do. God was telling him. He believed
it was God, but it was never God.
I understand that. But I'm telling you from his point of view, because there was no ego.
I thought it was God, but it was another God.
Yeah, it was no ego from him. It was, he believed he was talking to God. And he was like, they call me a prophet, but I can't call myself a prophet. I'm not going to do that. And he was like, I'm your brother. He heard God tell him that he was God's brother. So, what the fuck, right?
I get it. And then after he does all, and even then he was like, I know God is telling me this, but this shit is wrong. You could tell it. Okay, God's telling me to do this, but just something is wrong. It don't make sense. And he was like, these things don't make sense. Help me find how it makes sense. And it's like,
just give you the right amount of push. Your cross is missing. Okay, it's missing. She tries to hand it back to you.
And all you can see
is your failing vision.
No, it wasn't his failing vision. The devil's used, it was playing tricks on him because he was seeing what wasn't there. He was seeing what wasn't there. And I guess that's when I say his ego, because he's like, you dare speak or something like that. She's like, look, you made a promise. Once you uphold your end of the promise and fix the wagon, and we will leave immediately. And he gets pissed off. And he grabs her and she tries to fight back, and then that sealed it right there.
He was already in the full grips by then.
Yeah, he got into the full grips as he was looking at her. Mm-hmm. And the vision was changed for him. He didn't have bad vision. That was the quote unquote devil fucking with his vision. And look, people are so stupid. They will watch this series, see how the devil does him, and be like, yep, that's what the devil do. That's how fucking stupid people are. That's how fucking stupid people are. Something that even in the Bible isn't complete. Something that in any other text isn't even a completed thing. Taking things from paganism, their dear God or their dear deity, and piecing it so they can turn it against them and say that's the devil. It can't even like, what's the devil look like? Just you got hooves and antlers and angry and well, hell is hot, hell is red, so the devil's red because it's hell and it's hot, so he's red. Why is it a he? I mean, a woman wouldn't be that strong, so it's got to be a guy. So and he said, what the fuck? Literally, that's how it would have to be to come up with this stupid shit. But hey, hit the dislike button. So it's he got played because he knew it was God, but he was like, devil's like, hey, as he said, because he realized, oh shit, it's the devil. He realized that, and that's when he said, he never answered you, not once, but I did.
He said that, but he didn't. the quote unquote son said that, but I don't think that man still believed. I think he still believed that he was talking to God.
Couldn't be. It'd be too stupid then. Because he.
What about that? Had nothing. All that belief he was like, had nothing to do with intelligence.
Like, the Lord answered me, and he was like, and they said the Lord answered me or something. He goes like, he didn't answer you. I did.
He was still calling him the Lord.
I mean, the devil basically is God in a sense. So yeah, anything stronger than a Lord in general is just who's in control.
Yeah, I get that, but we're giving this dude too much credit.
I'm trying to give him some kind of out.
No, there's no out. There's no out. He got completely snowed. He was in. He bought in completely.
I was trying, people. You heard me. I tried. Because I'm like, I remember this, and I'm like, maybe that.
Because it all goes back to me losing my wife and my child and the rage he was having.
And then fast forward, when she's like, my child is gone. That must have been what happened to you. You must have lost your child. And his eyes go from black to that pasty pale blue.
Because he was blind.
Yep. And she takes his cross and yanks it off. Because he's like, I see you. See you. You know? Like, I see the actual you, not these apparitions and shit. But I see you. I see you for what you are. I see you for how weak you are. I see you for the lies that you've done. I've seen you for the murder that you've committed. I've seen the wrong that you've done that you can't hold yourself accountable for. You know, I see you. And the devil's like, you know what? You fucking failed.
All this pain and anguish because of your own weakness.
Yep. And the devil's like, you fucking failed.
Yep.
You know what?
You failed at your job.
You're done. Set him on fire. And
that was that.
And then the family is like, we good? We good. He's like, I'm going out first. So they go out little by little.
And the fire that was surrounding the house goes out.
It did?
It went out. Right after that dude went up in flames, the fire went out.
And then the cops, there's 3 cops there holding guns pointing at them. And everyone behind them. And it's kind of like, I mean, that's how it ends. Now, if anyone goes and like, yeah, the ending explained, how do you explain that ending? What are you going to explain? So, yeah. It's a long one, but that's 10 episodes. Maybe we should have done this episode by episode. What do you think?
I mean, I guess we could have, but it's kind of a moot point now.
I tried.
That's why I said, I know you said you tried.
At the beginning, I kept saying we should do this episode by episode. And then you was like, no, because such and such. And I was like, because we didn't give a fuck. We didn't give a fuck about this. So it was like, we'll just sum it up at the end. And I really thought we could do it in 13 minutes. I was wrong.
Yeah.
But this is, you know what? If this does get a downvote, I know who did it anyway. So, you know.
If it does get a downvote,
all it's going to do is boost us in. You downvote is the same as an upvote because it's like, hey, this got activity. That's all the votes mean now. If they meant like they did back in the day, yeah, I probably would just do rainbows and butterfly videos only if that's what it meant back in the day. But those days are gone. They're gone. CNN videos get massive downvote and they get pushed to the top of the list. So there you go. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. Kid and caboodle. That's everything. We went over everything. I will say this movie, this series, I keep saying movie, it does illustrate something that people aren't going to talk about. Okay? And I'm going to close with this. This is something that people don't talk about, but trauma in our lives. Your life. Okay? Don't make yourself a victim that you're not. But if you are a victim, own it properly.
You have to acknowledge it. You can't bury it because it poisons.
Yes. People go through stuff when they grow up. Some people go through a lot. Okay? So if you can find someone to talk to. There are places like betterhelp.com, and make sure when you're listening to whoever is helping you that they're not trying to get you to blame you or get you to move past it.
You have to be your own advocate. You're
Yes.
moving. You can say, I just got to move past it on your own. You need nobody to help you to do that.
And if they
There's a
ask
lot
you,
more to therapy than that.
here are questions when someone frames a question as in, why do you think this happened to you? That could be a flag right there on the field. That's a warning flag. Don't let anyone that you go to for help gaslight you. Okay? Don't do that. Trauma is real. When people are traumatized, when they have PTSD of things, it could be a lot of things, but it has to be honest, not made up crap so you can be a victim. But honest, post-traumatic stress disorders by any means. Or how about post-traumatic stress discomforts? Because that's what you are. You are highly discomforted. You're diseased, not diseased, diseased, how it used to be used. You're uneasy.
I don't know about that.
Back in the day, medical original disease meant
no, you're right about
uneasy.
that. I'm talking about using the word discomfort.
Because you're not comfortable. Discomfort means uncomfortable. It's just you're discomforted. You are emotionally discomforted, and you need to find comfort. You need to find someone that's going to help you, not say you are the cause of your problems or these people are bad, you're good, here's an upvote.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, I'm being very specific, so that's why I'm going to say.
Oh, you're gonna laser this one, okay?
Because when PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder means something is out of order, something is not functioning as it should.
Yes,
and that's a step beyond discomfort.
The reason I didn't want to use disorder is because when people hear disorder, they immediately say you got a problem that can never go away and you're fucking nuts, and that angers me because a disorder doesn't mean that. There isn't, but then to say it's a disorder means what is orderly, and then it's up to psychiatrist discretion. Do you act a certain way? Do you talk a certain way? Do you behave a certain way? Do you behave a certain way? So I am tentative of that.
I understand that, but being technical, when you have PTSD, there is a disorder, and it's not a disorder of the mind; it's a disorder of the biology.
And that's why the whole term, it does make sense, and I agree with it because it is a post-traumatic disorder. Because whatever your trauma is, past the point of being traumatized, you are now disordered.
And people are, and rightfully so, people are stuck in the fact that psychiatry for a long time, therapy, getting help was unethical. And you are dealing with people who, are so interested in what is wrong with you and not interested in helping the person. So you're just a guinea pig. But
you can't go to people that's going to gaslight you. You can't go.
You can't go. That's why you have to be your own advocate.
Like if
you're talking to somebody and you're not vibing, you don't keep going back. You leave. It's that simple. Whether it's a medical doctor or a therapist or a spouse or a parent.
Some things are so overt when it comes to a therapist. You got to report them. You can't be afraid of them. Report that therapist to something. Okay. All right. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up. Let's say you were 10. Making this shit up on the spot. You're 10 and you had a cat that you loved, and the cat peed in a loved one's shoe, and you watched that loved one take a gun and shoot that cat in the face. And that messed you up in ways that you haven't really figured out. You just know you are jacked up. So you go to a therapist to try to talk about that because that's a focal point and you just want to talk about it. And then the therapist is like, so why do you think that would happen in front of you? You need to get away from that person. Little questions like that. Because that means nothing. That question means nothing. Questions like, if they say, well, did you ever ask yourself why you didn't protect the cat? Oh, you got to get the fuck away. Why do you think you saw that? What? You got to get away from people like that. certain things, you know, but we're not critical. We're not all critical thinkers. And
No, we're not.
when you're in the moment, that critical thinking kind of really goes out the window because you want to trust. You want to believe that this person's got your best interest at heart, but when they just collecting the check.
When you choose a therapist, there's going to be, it's going to be a period of, you don't have to just open up your veins to them right then. It's going to be a period of adjustment before you decide whether or not you want to continue with this person.
Because this movie, they had no therapy and they had to find their own way out. And that's also something they're trying to say about black people, because that's usually how it is, because black people don't trust therapists.
For many historical reasons.
When I went to a therapist to prove that my anxiety keeps me from working, the psychiatrist or therapist, psychologist, she didn't believe me at all. And I'll be honest with you, I had zero trust in her. I had no faith, none. I mean, she might as well have been standing there with a sword saying, well, as soon as I think nobody's watching, you're a dead motherfucker. That's about how it was. And man, I went to bumping my gums and saying all kinds of shit, basically against her. And there were things that I was saying that I could see it struck a nerve. And I'm like, and I'll be honest with you, didn't know I was saying much. I knew what I was saying. I remember what I was saying. But it was just this thing on the right side of my head, and I just couldn't shut it the fuck up. And she asked me a question. She did the whole numbers things. Can you say these numbers? Can you do it by these amounts? Can you remember? She was like, she asked me if I remember what her name was. I was like, I don't remember your name. I remember that name for shit. I'm like, I will not be seeing you past today. I forgot your name when I came in here. I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. I know that motherfucker's name. I still don't today. Don't give a shit. She asked me if I was traumatized, if I'd ever been traumatized. And
that's a stupid question.
See, warning, right? But when she asked, have you ever been traumatized? I admit, my brain went blank. And it felt like she was just trying to find some dirt. That's what it felt like. She's just trying to find dirt. Not like she's trying to help me. She just want to find some dirt. And I didn't know what to do. I remember just looking at her with this frozen, wide-eyed face and just shaking my head. Well, just shaking my head. No, real slow, like, And thinking, and I remember thinking, what the fuck did she ask me? Was I traumatized? By this? Yes. How? What the fuck? So, hey, y'all, I'm not perfect. You know, there you go. I put my shit right on the table. I have no problem doing that. You know, there's a reason for it, because there's nothing special about me. Everything that I will go through or have gone through, someone else and many others have gone through it. You know? So I just say I'm just part of society to an extent. So, hey, you want to leave some comments about anything I had to say? You probably disliked a lot of shit that I've said. You can put it down there. It's all good. I'll most likely read it. It will show up in my email and I'll read it, whatever the comment is. And I'll be checking to see if any comments, because I know YouTube won't send me everything. I got to go check the studio thing, and it's getting on my nerves. But yeah, that's it. That's our review, post review, and extra shit at the end of it. An hour and 43 minutes. Yeah, cool. So you got anything else to say, Sidra? Mm-hmm. Probably nope. So this has been Cedric and Sidra for CR Reviews of Them 2021 Amazon series. Thank you for listening.